look in the mirror, man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you.
Welcome to the Jeeremy HEILD Show. If you're easily triggered, leave now, because this is not the show for you. Now, I'm going to show you in this reaction video a woman who has the nature of a serpent, in my most humble opinion, because she's finna try to make it seem like that she agree with all the men out there. She's going to tell you, I agree with the men, women are delusional, and that women's standards are just too high for us. That's how she's going to start, right? But you got to pay close attention to what she's about to say after that. Boy, these women are slick, man. Slicker than a can of motor oil. Now, let me go ahead and put on the screen, man. Now, dig this before you dig that. Let's get it.
Whenever men tell women that their standards are too high and that you're delusional, when I heard it back in the day, I used to be like, y'all are just some haters. Y'all are pathetic and y'all be on some hating shit. Like, women, don't lower your standards. Girl, do not lower your standards. These men are pathetic. They're just being some haters. Initially, that was my thought. But now, I honestly unfortunately, I have to agree with the men. Women are delusional, and our standards are too high. Now, let me just go with me for a second, right? I used to believe it was on some hating shit. And I remember when Steve Harvey had his show, he was telling women, your standards are too high. You're going to, end up alone because no man is going to want to meet those standards, especially when they can get it from a woman with no standards. Like, the lower hanging fruit is easier to obtain. So they're not going to jump through all these hoops to be with you and meet your standards. And so I'm like, nah, that's just some guys, nah, that's some hating shit. But here's the thing. Most women are delusional and our standards are too high. Now, I'm not saying to lower your standards. I would never tell you to do that. I want women to understand what this really is, okay? So we all know, for the most part, that women were lied to about what and who men really were, right? We were lied to about that. We thought they were going to be these protectors and these providers, and they were going to protect us from harm, and harm being other men, because I mean, what, a charging wildebeest is gonna come after us, and the man is gonna use his machete and protect,
Here we go, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. This woman's a damn fool, in my most humble opinion, man. Anything they can think of to belittle the value of a man, anything, they're gonna believe in it, they're gonna justify it, they're gonna promote it. Anything to tear a man down. Pay attention to what she's saying. She's saying that women have been lied to by men against the patriarchy, have been lying to women about who we really are, as if you don't need men. You see, we got to get back to the old fashioned days, man. All right, I'm not talking about being domestically violent to a woman. I'm talking about putting women back in their places because they are out of pocket, man. And I know women who watch me, man, that like what I said. I don't care, man. A lot of these women are out of pocket, man. We have made this civilization so comfortable for you that you can totally feel that you can disrespect every man, or you feel that you can compare every good man to every bad man, to every bad experience that you have had with men. We all got to carry the burden of your last relationships. She's in a truck. She's a truck driver. It took men to put her in that position. And I'm against some of that anyway. I believe there's certain jobs that women should not work. I know you don't like it, but I don't care. I think women should not have these extremely masculine jobs, man. They shouldn't have them. They need to be in a place where they can live in their femininity at work, where they can be gentle and soft, not where they have to unload and put stuff up. When I was in the military, when we went to war, the men went out there. I didn't see none of these so-called women who want these masculine jobs out there on the front line. Now, I'm not saying that they're not out there, but if they're in a tank or anything like that, they are surrounded by men. If they're in the trenches, if they ever get that far, they're surrounded by men. You never see women just out there. All right? We need to get back to gender roles. And being a masculine man, being the head of household does not mean that I am a slave driver. The world functioned better, the world functioned better back in the day when men was running the household. Look at the data. Let's keep going, man. I'm sorry about that little rant.
Typically, your number one predator as a woman is going to be a man. So you're going to protect us from other men, and you're going to be a good father, and you're going to be faithful, and you're going to be all these things. And men were never that. They were propped up by the patriarchy to pretend that they were those things. And when men tell us that we're delusional and our standards are too high, the secret is, it's not that they don't want to meet those standards. It's that they can't. The average man is completely incapable of meeting those standards. It's almost like expecting a 1-year-old to know how to do calculus in pre.
You see how she's insulting your intelligence? She said to you, that we don't have the capability to meet their standards. They don't have the capability, the capacity to meet their own standards either. Women who are a part of the LGBTQIA community, they have hell with the women in their relationships, man. Did you know that? And one thing I got to say to you women who have all these high standards that a man must meet, everything you wrote down on your little paper where it comes down, this is the criteria, these are the standards that a man must meet, become those standards yourself first. Everything that's on your paper, you become those things first. And then you'll get to see how difficult it is for you to live up to your own standards. I want a man that's over 6 feet tall. I want a man that keeps himself in shape. I want a man who don't have children. I want a man who makes 6 figures. And here it is, you overweight, ain't got 1 6-pack bone on you, no muscles on you. You got 2 or 3 kids. You make under $40,000 a year. So these standards that you have, become those standards first, yourself. Then you can understand where men are coming from.
Incapable of meeting those standards. It's almost like expecting a 1-year-old to know how to do calculus in pre-algebra or whatever, right? They don't have the mental faculties to do it. And most men, even if they tried to reach those standards, they will fail miserably. Now, in the famous words of Princella, the patriarchy, aka the wheelchair ramp that they gave men, basically gave them a head start. And women, not only did we catch up to men, we surpassed them. And right now in 2024, we're surpassing them like a motherfucker. And they're
how are y'all passing us up when you still call us for help? When you still complain about not being able to find a good one? How are y'all passing us up? If this world right now, you see what happened when we had the pandemic where everybody was panicking, hurting people and stuff like that. When you take away these modernized conveniences, technology, and you totally turn the system upside down where there's no order, there is no woman out here alive that can survive on her own. I don't care if you get, you know how to take guns and shoot them and all this other stuff. You won't survive. You wouldn't survive a year. If men wanted your stuff, there's nothing you could do about it. You might be able to pop a few shots off on one, but en masse, you all will bow down, be taken down, abused in ways that you wouldn't want to think of. I'm just being honest with you. And you see this type of thing that I'm talking about in other third world countries where they do that, where the women can't do nothing. They can try to do whatever, but against the men, they won't survive. See, y'all are extremely delusional. You are so protected by men that you feel that you could protect yourselves from men. And you can't. You can't. This is sad. And she said, Priscilla, that's one of them feminist women that don't believe that women should be with men, and she's gay. Yeah, she is. You can look her up. And she always tells women why you don't need men. Makes you wonder what her agenda is, huh? And I don't care if you hear me. If you find out about me, bring yourself to the show. I meant everything I said. Let's keep going.
They're crashing out because back then all they needed to have was a job, to get a wife and to get kids, and that was it. Now women are requiring men to be a good person, be faithful, be loyal, be all these things, a great father, all that stuff, right? And most of them can't. It's not that they don't want to. They fucking can't. They don't have the mental faculties to do it.
Wow.
That is why our standards are too high, because we're expecting this macho superior being to be that, when really they're the ones that are inferior. And I'm saying the vast majority of them. There's a small sprinkling of guys who are self-starters. They're motivated by just themselves and they want to survive, and they don't need to do, they're not out here working hard just to get a woman and some kids. They're working hard for themselves. Like, the very thing that can show you that these men don't have any like self-motivation, look at how many men have been dropping out of the workforce because they don't feel like there's any light at the end of the tunnel. If these women aren't choosing them because you have to be a good person, you have to be loyal, you have to not cheat on me, you can't cuss me out and dim my light, you can't do all these, you have to be a good person. They're like, well, fuck it. I'm not gonna get a wife. These women are not choosing me because I only make $40,000 or $50,000 a year. What's the point? I might as well live in my mama's basement, right? Or have 5 roommates. You know, they're not even striving for themselves. Like, you're supposed to adult, whether you are a man or a woman, for yourself, so that you can have heat in the wintertime, so that you can have air in the summertime, so you can have a fucking roof over your head, so you can have a car to drive, so you can be able to afford to put gas in that said car. Like, you're supposed to want to do that for yourself.
This woman just told you now, she just told you that men are giving up because they can't get a woman. Men are walking off the job and quitting, not even getting jobs because they can't find a woman that they cannot run over. Boy, these women are stupid. Boy, I mean, I know this, in my humble opinion, man, these are crazy ass women, brothers. I mean, this is crazy, man. So you go to work today, y'all. If you see anybody quit their job, ask them, are they quitting the job because they just can't get the right woman? And I guarantee you that's not going to be the answer. What planet are these women from, man? They cop, and what's so scary, sometimes I think is to try to get views, but a lot of times in her case, I think she really believes what she says, man. So she probably play for the other team, if not she's going to, and if she get a man, he gonna be a weak man. A strong man can't be with her at all, man.
But they are like, if there's not going to be a woman and kids or anybody that I can control and lord over, then what's the point? That right there will tell you right there, all by itself, that they can't reach those standards. So yes, we're either going to settle for a man, or we're going to get lucky and find a guy who got his shit together, which that number is very, very low for the vast majority of women, or you're going to be by yourself. Those are the only options we have. I will never tell women to lower their standards. The higher you raise your standards, the less men will be able to apply.
Exactly. The higher you raise your standards, the less opportunity to get married. That's what she's not understanding. She's not understanding that. You keep raising these unrealistic expectations and standards, the more you're going to run men off. In her sick, perverted, warped mind, she thinks that's a good thing. But as she get older, and if she's heterosexual, well, even in that community, as she gets older, she'll realize that that was a bad idea, because what you're doing is you're making a feminist repellent that's running men off when you have all these high standards that turn men off and say, man, I ain't finna try to deal with that. And it ain't because they are not able to meet them. There's a certain attitude that comes along with those standards women got. When a woman say things like he got to make over 6 figures and stuff, there's an attitude from that woman with that. He got to make 6 figures or he's not worth me. He's not worth my time. There's an attitude behind all those unrealistic standards that men are not willing to deal with, man. So yeah, you're going to be by yourself, and you're right. You're going to run men off, child. You're going to be the only woman out there wondering why I can't get no man. And then you'll come back here and look at this show later on, honey child, and say, damn, I should have paid attention to Mr. Hill. That's what's going to be for a lot of y'all, I'm telling you. Real talk. Well, anyway, I'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all take it easy. Yeah?